Hello and welcome back to the Quality Not Included podcast with your host, Jimmy JL, also known as Adam. And today we are taking a little look back at my first Quality Not Included, which is Call of Duty Black Ops IV Garbage or Gold. And man, it seems that I was pretty much right in the podcast, a little bit. I said it was probably going to be a successful game because of the Battle Royale mode, and I was spot on that. But it does have its flaws, and I haven't played it, but I have seen a few things. One of the flaws that I see with it is the maps, especially the Battle Royale maps. It's prepackaged with a bunch of like famous Black Ops maps from the series, but I can see that getting old very fast. It's a big map. There's collectibles, there's guns, there's pickups, there's shields. It's pretty cool. It's just like a normal everyday Battle Royale game. I still don't like saying that word. But it's nice looking game. The graphics are great, the gameplay is great, and the servers are surprisingly good. Whenever it was first starting up, it was one of those games where everyone was like, oh, Black Ops 4 is dead, Black Ops is dead, Call of Duty is dead. And then all of a sudden, once the game came out, everyone's like, wow, this is my favorite game ever. It's the hype machine. A lot of games build up on hype, and that's about it. And some games flop because of hype, because the hype is so big that it just flops upon release, like Titanfall 2. But Call of Duty, man, they lucked out like big time. With the release of World War II, which is a game I have just played, like a year after its release date, which is a very fun game. I suggest you get it if you haven't. With the release of World War II, Call of Duty was trying to go back to the roots, and apparently people didn't like it. I liked it. It was pretty fun. It has a 3-star on Redbox, and I believe Steam. It has mostly negative reviews because it was kind of a washed-down version of Call of Duty World War II. Call of Duty World at War, excuse me. But it had a lot more visuals and story and yada yada yada. You get the point. But Black Ops 4, I was ready for it to be the same story for that. Like, people were like, oh, this game looks crap. And then it came out and it was like, oh, this game is crap. But apparently Activision pulled their slack this year, boys. Because, man, from looking at the gameplay, it looks fun. It looks intuitive. It looks accessible. As I said, for younger audiences, it does look like a game that you can just pick up and start playing. And I ain't saying that from like a standpoint. I've seen young and old play this game, and they all enjoy it. Although, they did promise it being boots on the ground, which, you know, they do have the grappling hook, but it's still a little niche with people who don't like futuristic Call of Duty games. It is still a Call of Duty game, nonetheless. You're not going to get out of that. It's just the thing nowadays. So, do I suggest you play the game? Of course. I mean, it looks fun. The multiplayer is expansive. I almost said single player, rip in peace. The zombies looks amazing, which is basically the stand-in for the single player. The zombie storyline is continuing on the Titanic, and then they have the continuation of the old storyline with all the Dempsey and all that stuff I can't remember. Like I said, I don't really play zombies. And then you have the Battle Royale mode, which is basically the showboy for the Black Ops series at the moment. And then Battlefield 5. Oh, poor thing. So, with the release of Battlefield 1, Call of Duty, I believe, World War II and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare and World War II were kind of foreshadowed in the back, because Battlefield 1 was the game. Like, you didn't play World War II or Infinite Warfare. You played Battlefield 1. That was the thing of 2017 and 2016. It was just huge, and it was just because Battlefield just did it right. They let you do what you wanted. But that was also the birth of multiplayer-only games, which I will never forgive them for doing. But yeah, it was fun, and it was big, and it was old, and it was old. It was just realistic, and the graphics were good and all that. And then I guess people thought, oh boy, here comes Call of Duty and Activision, whatever, going to copy off Battlefield's success, which I won't say they didn't do, because they kind of did. Except they just didn't do the World War I thing. I was worried that they were going to try that, and I was very worried that they were going to mess up on that, because Call of Duty really has mastered the futuristic technique, because whenever you can do something futuristic, you can make up your own stuff. You don't have to go with a certain write out. You can do whatever the heck you want, because the future is unseen, and you can make your own future. But Call of Duty started off with World War II, and they started off good. But then whenever they started getting to the Black Ops II, Call of Duty Ghosts, which Call of Duty Ghosts was the future for its time, they started getting really good at forming futuristic scenarios. And then, for some reason, I know why the reason was, people were screaming at Activision to stop making futuristic games, or Treyarch. They went back to doing Call of Duty World War II. And, like I said, it's a really fun game. It has some good story. It has a really good story, a really good campaign. It was made by Sledgehammer. Really, ever since Call of Duty has been cooperating with Sledgehammer Games, it has been amazing. It's really weird from the chain, because from Modern Warfare 3, that's whenever Sledgehammer started helping Activision out. It was like, what was before? It was Black Ops 2. No. It was. Hold on, because it was Black Ops 2, so it was before Black Ops 2. So World War 2 was before Black Ops 2, or Modern Warfare 3 was before Black Ops 2, and then it was Black Ops... Hold on, I'm trying to get the scale here. Hold on, give me a sec. I'm gonna go check some... No, I'm not. Okay, whatever. Whenever Modern Warfare 3 came out, that's whenever Sledgehammer started up, and you could tell the difference automatically. And it's just progressed so much. But yeah, Battlefield 1 was just a huge, expansive game that everyone liked, and then Call of Duty tried to run off of that with World War II. And then, for some reason, whenever Black Ops 4 came out, everyone was booing it. They're like, oh, this is just crap. This, another, da-da-da-da-da. And I was looking at it, I said, okay, when are these people going to be happy? They don't want a World War II shooter. They don't want a futuristic shooter. They're screaming for the old games to be remastered. But once Modern Warfare got remastered, like a few people played it, and then they were done with it, and they were screaming for something else. I don't see where there's the middleman right here, because do you want an old shooter? Do you want a futuristic shooter? Do you want a modern shooter? What do you want? Because people are just screaming and screaming. And there's so many different parties. I'm in the futuristic party. I love futuristic shooters. It lets Treyarch's and Activision's imaginations go wild, because they can do whatever the heck they want. I mean, look at Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare. It's amazing what they did with those games. And no one liked it, because most of the Activision's party and Treyarch's party at this point, and Infinity Ward's party, I'm sorry, and Infinity Ward's party, are a lot of Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 2, and Black Ops era people. And they like to stick with the old and the modern, but whenever that happens, they still don't like the games, because they always find something wrong with it. They nitpick, and I just don't see what people want. And then Black Ops 4 comes out, and I'm like, okay, this is just going to be another, flop, whatever. Then all of a sudden, people start playing it, and they're like, "Oh wow, this is better than Fortnite." I see a bunch of videos popping up, Black Ops 4 better than Fortnite, yada yada yada. It goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's being called the Fortnite killer, which is actually pretty nice. So if Black Ops 4 does take over Fortnite, I will not be saddened. But I could see that Activision and Treyarch did put a lot of work into the game, and they always put a lot of work in their games. I said this before. Well, no, I didn't say this before. I commented this on a video once, that it's amazing how these companies can just dish out new games every year. And yeah, it might be just a generic shooter, but you have to understand every single little pixel in that game was made by somebody. It was put into that game over hours. They worked hours and days and months and I guess sometimes years on the game. And every single thing that you see in that game was made by somebody on a computer or made by a computer itself. That's just outstanding. And people overlook that now because games have become so, mundane. With, a game as simple, I'm trying to think. I don't want to make anyone mad with this. Trying to think of a very simple game. I don't know. I can't think of a simple game right now. Because I just see everything as huge. Oh, like a game like Crypt of the Necrodancer. Or let me say that again. Crypt of the Necrodancer. It's a simplistic game. It's a top-down dungeon crawler. But it's to the music. It's to music. And it's amazing. But every single thing in that game was made by somebody. And even though it's a simpler game, it's really outstanding. And I think people have lost that view recently because they just think that they copy-paste assets onto it. No, it's not. They painstakingly go through every single detail and stuff. And yeah, maybe sometimes they get a little lazy, but I mean, what you gonna do? You're spending $20 million on a game that's gonna be released, and you had to release it on 3 consoles now. You have to release different versions, you have to put updates, you have to constantly watch their service. They still got... It's not after they release a game, they don't just sit back. They actually still have to work with the game after it's released, doing patches and updates and DLCs. So they even put stuff into DLCs, So I think that's what's been lost. The views that have been lost on gaming recently. But... I'm excited. I'm happy that I was right about Black Ops 4. I'm excited it wasn't a failure. Will it be one of the most remembered Call of Duty games of its time? I don't think so, no. But will it be a good Call of Duty game for this time? Yeah, sure. I mean, like I said, it really depends. It can have that little takeoff, which it has, but it can also drop. I mean, things change like that in the gaming world. Take PUBG, for example. Again, I'm going back to those, but PUBG, really, really famous, and then it just dumped. That could happen to Call of Duty. Maybe whenever Battlefield 5 comes out, it's going to take over Black Ops 4. Who knows? The gaming world is always changing. People's mindsets are always changing. It's such a strange time to live in gaming-wise. I mean, 1 second someone's praising this new indie company for this amazing, outstanding, innovative game, and then the next second they're praising this corporation, EA, for making the next FIFA 28 game. It's like, oh wow, you can see their shoelaces flying in the breeze! And then while this indie game guy spent years working on a game on his crappy computer, years making every pixel perfect, and then they're like, just copy the assets for FIFA. Make the shoelaces look nice. No, I just contradicted myself. But yeah, EA even puts work into FIFA. They just like to steal your money a little bit. But whatever. I mean, even EA is a company, and they deserve some respect. I mean, they've made their stand in the world. And I think Activision can too. They can really come back. Because as you might know, Activision and Treyarch and Infinity Ward, I guess, because they Infinite Warfare, have been kind of fallen recently. I'm doing air quotes because I actually like the games that they've been pushing out. I never really got into the old Call of Duty games. I don't know. Call me a dweeb, call me whatever the heck you want. I mean, I just don't like. I mean, I enjoy them, story, I love the campaigns, but the multiplayer I just cannot stand. But in the newer Call of Duty games, it seems like they gotten the idea of, gotten the whole planning down that people just like to play multiplayer. So they made the multiplayer fun and not rage-inducing. But it's really your particular view. If you're a Battlefield fan, then so be it. Battlefield 5 is going to be an amazing game, I know it. It's just having some really bad pre-order sales. I mean, it's really bad. But I'm pretty sure it's still going to be a good game. If you're a Call of Duty fan, Black Ops 4 is for you. You're going to love it. It's out right now. The whole thing about the inclusiveness of the female characters in Battlefield 5, I mean, if it's not, I don't get it. People say it's not true to history. But I mean, really, have you seen the commercials for the game? I mean, here, take it this way. Whenever you're playing the game, whenever in the real World War II, you didn't respawn. There weren't hundreds of millions of troops respawning. No, once they died, they died. All due respect. But, I mean, come on, it's a video game. And it's EA. Just let them do what they want. It doesn't matter. It's okay. Women can be in the game. It does not matter. I just don't get that. It's such a big movement recently. And I'm okay with it. Just let them do what they want. I don't understand why people are so against it. But, yeah, whatever. Historically accurate or not, it's still going to be a great game. If you are neither a fan of those two games, and you're a fan of indie games, then shoot. Steam Greenlight is the thing for you. No. Jesus. I looked on Steam Greenlight like a week ago. My computer is actually working now. And yeah. Steam is kind of pushing out some garbage recently. But, it's really your preference. Whatever you enjoy, you enjoy. So yeah. I just wanted to do a little follow-up on the Black Ops, whole thing. I'm not going to say that I'm excited that Black Ops is taking over Call of Duty. I'm sorry, Black Ops. Black Ops is taking over Battlefield because I think they both have their due respects. And I do think they both have their charms and they both have their setbacks big time. But, like I said, it's personal preference. So it's never going to change. There's never going to be one game that's so perfect that everyone's going to play it. Even whenever Battlefield 1 came out, people were still playing World War II and Infinite Warfare because there's always going to be that divide of gamers who like stories and gamers who like multiplayer. There's always going to be that divide, and I don't think there's ever going to be a game that incorporates it perfectly in one. Maybe one day, but not today. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Quality Not Included podcast. I'm currently on my summer vacation. I finished 11th grade like a few hours ago. So, I expect some more uploads from me. I don't know how long I'll be off. It's a homeschool thing, so it's really my mom who chooses how long I'll have off. Maybe 3-4 weeks at the most. But should give me enough time to do maybe some more podcasts, maybe make some music videos. I don't know. It really depends on what I'm doing personally. So, yeah. Thank you all for listening to this podcast. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any input or anything, just put a comment in the comment section or go to the community tab on my thing. I think that's what it's called. Or the discussion tab or whatever. Go to the discussion tab, put in whatever you want to say, and I'll do my best to answer you back. So yeah, thank you for listening. I'll see you guys, or I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.